Hello, welcome to D1 All Stars. I'm incredibly excited about this latest episode. We have a very special guest in the building, Mariam Maldonado. Welcome.
Hi, Joe Maldonado.
How are you doing?
Good.
This is going to be a very new interview. I'm going to get to learn a lot about somebody who I have no connection with whatsoever. Welcome. Thanks for agreeing to be on the show.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So the way this is going to work is we're going to talk a little bit about you, tell your story. We're going to talk about your connection to Fitchburg, and then we're going to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that you do. Ready?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
So one thing that I always ask everybody is to tell us about you. Tell us your story. What do you want people to know about you?
Well, I'm Mariam Maldonado. I'm from Dominican Republic originally. I moved here 19 years ago. I live in Fitchburg. I have a beautiful store in Fitchburg called Luna's Groceries. And I'm married to Joe Maldonado. Which make this interview awkward.
Well, we'll try to make it less awkward. Yeah. So, how'd you get to Fitchburg? Why'd you get here?
I moved here in 2004. My parents moved from the Dominican Republic. We came with the conviction of our uncle that this was a great place. And it is. He just forgot to mention the snow. And then I lived in Madison for the first 5 years. And then I found my home in Fitchburg, and I fell in love with the diversity of Fitchburg and how cool of a city is.
You also fell in love with a guy in Fitchburg. That's pretty awesome too. So what do you like about Fitchburg besides the diversity? What do you enjoy about living here?
Well, one of the things that I like the most is how many different backgrounds, and that counts into diversity, but it's not just like people from different countries or colors. It's also people from different socioeconomic background, and I think that's a beautiful thing that complements.
Awesome. And what do you wish there was more of in the city?
Sidewalks.
Tell me more.
We used to live on Crescent Road, and we used to walk our kids to the school. So every day we have to walk through the streets to get our kids to the bus stop.
You know, that's a real controversial issue in this city, is whether or not to put sidewalks in places, so you might get some enemies.
I didn't mean to, I'm sorry.
What else do you wish there was more of in Fitchburg?
We have a lot of beautiful things going on. We have a lot of representation when it comes to business from different backgrounds. I think one of the things that are missing is people finding out about those business and those representations. So some sort of like a newsletter that feature the diversity in Fitchburg would be great.
Yeah. What are like some hidden gems in the city you feel like people don't really know about that they should?
Well, we have a Honduras hair salon in our neighborhood. We have what else? We have a local bar, really cool. They serve really good breakfast. 2 local bars in our area, in our like neighborhood. And then we have the Boys and Girls Club. They do an amazing job with the kids. So yeah. I think people just hear like those locations and they don't place like where they are and the impact that they have in the community they're in. And like in that Light neighborhood, the Boys and Girls Club has been doing an amazing job with the kids for years, almost decades now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our neighborhood is split up between Madison and Fitchburg, mm-hmm. And you and I have lived there for a really long time. We've raised our kids there. We've done everything there. What does it mean to you to kind of be like rooted in this neighborhood, in this area?
Oh, I mean, it's mean a lot. It's like home, and not just home, but like a place where really amazing people live. Like look at our neighborhood. We have like a representation of almost everywhere in the world, like in one street.
Right. We still haven't had our block party in the neighborhood itself.
Yeah, and then you see the kids walking around and playing around. You see the people walking their dogs. It's just beautiful.
So I'm gonna ask the obvious question that people are probably gonna think about when they think about you. Tell us about like the store. How did the journey of the store come about?
Well, we started in 2018 is when we bought the building. And then remodeling the building took us almost a year. So we were open in January 2019. And since we have been there, we just not a grocery store, but we have served our community the best that we can. Like through pandemic, we have a partnership with a family, Fitchburg family pharmacist, and they help us like doing vaccine drive, helping people with information about COVID, especially with nobody knew what was going on. And then we have the Latino Chamber doing the same thing, helping us like keeping our business up to today with the news, with what was happening with COVID, giving a mask, just creating a safe environment for everybody when nobody knew what was going on. And then we had the Black Party every year. We didn't have it in pandemic though, but we have had it every year since when we opened in 2019. And then one thing that we have kept doing every year is our toys giveaway, when we give every kid in the neighborhood, we give them toys. And the first year we served 300 people. The second year we served 450 kids, and now in this last year we were able to serve 600 kids.
Yeah.
And each kid of our neighborhood to go home to give to toys.
So how's the neighborhood changed since we moved here?
I think I'm really bad taking ownership on things, but I'm just gonna say it. I think when people hear about online neighborhood, that nervosism on like, oh, it's a bad neighborhood, is not there anymore. People think about, oh, Luna's party, or oh, that's the place where the Boys and Girls serve, or oh, that's the place where they have Miss Alice is doing the neighborhood organization. So those are positive impact that the community has. 4 or 5 years ago, they were not there.
Yeah. It's like people look forward to coming to where we live.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's like a creation of culture. It's just been something that's made people happy and enjoyable. Yeah. This is Joe Maldonado with D1 All-Stars. We'll be right back after this break. D1 All-Stars, we are back. We're here with the incomparable Mariam Maldonado. It's really exciting to have you in this seat. You know, it took me 2 years to get you here, but you're finally with us.
Yeah, I'm here with you.
What made you agree to interview with me?
You finally say Mariam Maldonado without an accent.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
You want to talk about our origin story?
Yeah, please.
No, you gotta tell.
No, I wanna. You told me from your perspective.
Okay, so I was out downtown and I saw this beautiful woman.
Oh my gosh!
And I decided to play it cool. Mm-hmm. And I told her I worked at the Cardinal, so if you ever want to get in, holler at your boy. Yeah. Not knowing that you went there a lot. And we had coffee, ironically. Yeah. And the rest was history. Yeah. What's your take?
Well, I saw the handsome guy in the bar, and he approached me and recognized that I was not from here, that I was from Dominican Republic.
Good eye.
So that was very cute. He was like, Dominican, right? I was like, yep, that's me. And then the rest is history.
So what was it about us that you think caused that first spark?
Well, you know, it was not immediately first spark.
Oh, okay. It was more like a slow burn.
It took a little bit.
Okay, say more.
But once I got to know you and how committed you are to family, the community, the things that you are really passionate about it, I was like, yep, that's my guy.
And you said you saw me before I met you, right?
Yeah, so you were in a Democrat convention.
Okay.
And I saw you, and you were wearing a pink shirt, dress shirt. And I was like, who's the handsome guy? But then you left.
You got your chance again.
Yeah.
So I think it's appropriate that we kind of talk about what it means to, kind of be in a relationship and both being like super busy.
Yeah.
How do we do it? How do we make this thing work with all these other things going on?
I think we're really good in allowing each other to grow, but also holler at each other when we are separating too much.
Okay.
So you have done it with the store when I'm super busy in the store, making sure that I have time to commit with family, and I have done it with you when you are busy as an elderman, your full-time job, and the other things that you do in the community. And I think that that real thing that we connect, that we're not afraid to pull on each other and say, hey, you need to make us a priority.
You're messing up.
Yeah.
I'm back.
Yeah. That's what it has keeping us for 14 years together.
Yeah.
Because we both very ambitious and we both want to conquer the world. But then we have two little worlds that conquer at home.
Yes, two little worlds.
Yeah.
I was listening to this interview with the husband of Ruth Bader Ginsburg, one of our late Supreme Court justices.
Yeah.
And it actually inspired me to support you more because they said he was always like in the background, kind of just cheering her on and making sure she does, what she does. So it helped me for you to be my RBG and making sure that I'm egging you on and supporting you too.
And you have had such an amazing job doing it. In fighting battles that I'm not even aware of it.
Like what?
Like a few years ago when everybody was calling the store, and everybody was like, oh, is the owner Joe Maldonado there? And one day you just got off and you made this live video saying like, the owner is Mariam Maldonado, and if she was a guy, she was not going through this. And I'm like, oh, you're doing this for me. Like, I don't even care, but you're doing this for me. Like,
yeah, no, I mean, I did notice something that when men do certain things, they tend to get more credit and they often get overestimated for the things they do, whereas women, like, even though they're the brains behind it, the muscle behind it, everything, they sort of get put under the rug. Yeah. So it gave me a reality check. Mm-hmm. And even like a good friend of ours, she even called it out and said like, why is Joe in the front of this picture in the newspaper? Why is Joe doing this? Like it's Mariam's thing. And like you've been the one that's been pushing this effort so far for so long that, I don't deserve to get even 1/4 of the credit that I was getting. And sometimes people still do it, but I always check them whenever I can.
And the fact that you recognize that is just like, it affirms that I chose the right guy, because we have a little girl that she, for sure, she's gonna go into the world and do amazing things. And not all the time people are gonna recognize that, but I know you're gonna be here alive, and I know you're gonna make sure that she knows how to stand up and advocate for herself. And you do it with me too, like put me in situations like this so I can have a voice, a voice in the community. And every time that you have an opportunity where you see I can make a change or I can make an impact, even when it's not that important to me, because to me the work that we do, what is important, you know that unfortunately the loudest mouth is the one that gets fed. So even if we're doing an amazing job, but we're not talking about it, people from the outside is not gonna recognize that.
Yeah. So we have 2 kids.
Yeah, we do.
And our youngest kid is a girl.
Yeah.
And she's 6.
Yep.
And she has no problem telling the world what she does.
Yeah.
What's your parenting philosophy? How do you raise our 16-year-old boy and our 6-year-old girl? What's your parenting approach to making sure that we're raising bold young people?
Yeah, so for me, one of the biggest things is consistency, and I think that's for both of us, especially in parenting, that is always moving around, being on the same page on their expectations about our kids is crucial. We have fun with our kids, but we also have standards and expectations that they have to fulfill.
Yeah.
And we not just expect, but we help them to get there. And I think that is really important. Not just expecting from people, but how can you provide the tools then to get where they can achieve their potential in life?
Yeah. So, does it look different for a boy versus a girl?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay, how so? Tell us about the baby. How do we approach?
So the baby is very outspoken.
Yes.
And she will demand time from both of us. Aiden is not, and even when he needs time for us, he will never voice it or say it.
So give your funniest Naya story, and then we'll talk about Aiden later.
Well, both our children are entrepreneurs. So I was I was showering Naya probably a week ago, and she's like, "Mom, what is money?" And I was like, "Well, money is a resource of value that you change for other resources." And she's like, "And what do you mean?" I was like, "Well, if you want something, you get money and you exchange that for money. You exchange what you want for money. And depending what you want, it's gonna cost you." And she's like, "Oh." She's thinking about it. She's like, "And how do people make money?" It's like, "Well, you can sell service, you can sell items, how your mom does, or you can sell art." She's like, "Ah." So then we got home, and the first thing that she told you is like, "Mom, Dad, you need to start paying for my chores." And then I'm like, I'm just listening to her, and you were like, "Well, if the chores are for you, those are your responsibility. We don't need to pay you. But if you do something for our house, we can talk about doing some sort of stipend or payments," something like that. You tell her. And then she opened up a store. So she went to YouTube and this girl is 6. So she went to YouTube, find a draw tutorial, and she started making draws. And then she placed them near to her room, and she called it Picture Store. And she make a sign, everything. It was very, very intentional thing.
Can't even spell, and she's asking us how to spell picture.
She make a sign that says open and close, and has an arrow, and then the arrow that shows where the pictures are. And then she go to us and say, "You need to buy some pictures."
And how much did she charge for those pictures?
Oh, they went from $6 to $50.
Yes, $50 drawing. If anybody in the audience is interested, we have $50 drawings from Naya. That's an amazing story.
And then she makes us buy the drawings. And what happened next day?
She sold them to my parents.
But what else did she ask? She asked us to purchase more.
Yes.
And I was like, "Well, I purchased one yesterday." And she's like, "Mom, but you sell everyday stuff in your store."
That's hilarious. Well, we'll be back to talk a little bit about Aiden, but this is D1 All Stars. Joe Maldonado with Mariam. We'll be right back. D1 All-Stars, we are back with Mariam. So we have an ambitious entrepreneurial daughter.
Yeah.
No surprise there.
Yeah.
What's up with our old one?
He's an entrepreneur too. Do
Yeah.
you want to take the time and tell them about when he starts selling
Pokemon cards?
Pokemon cards?
Okay, so you decided to buy him a whole book full of Pokemon cards.
Yeah.
And him and his cousin, who were in the same grade in kindergarten, ended up getting caught going in the bathroom trading Pokemon cards.
And getting Pokemon cards banned for the school.
Yes, the school banned Pokemon cards. He was sick the next day, so I had to stay home with him. And I told him as a consequence that I would throw away his Pokemon cards. I didn't really do it. I'm sitting at the table typing, and he says, "Dad, did you throw away the Pokemon cards or did you recycle them?" I said, "I threw them away." He said, "Oh, well, I looked in the garbage and I looked outside in the trash can and I didn't see them." And then I went in his backpack the next day and I saw a life-size replica of a Pokemon card on printer paper. So this kid's like always finding a way to get things done regardless of what we say.
We're very blessed of our kids.
Yes, we are. I want to transition to talk about development. So you have a staff at Luna's.
Yep.
How do you build up people and how do you like get the things that you need to get done? Because obviously you're here and the store is still open. What does it mean to be able to build up a team of people to be able to get what you need to get done?
I think it comes from caring. People know that they come to Luna's to work and it's more than just getting a paycheck. They actually working in a place where they can feel comfortable, where they can voice any questions that they have, where they would be provided a meal every day, so it's something that they don't need to think about it. And they also see the impact that they're having in the community. I mean, my butcher is not just like cutting meat, he's serving food for families every day.
Okay.
So it's some sort of like pride on the work that we do, even when we just attending a grocery store. And people go there and establish this relationship with everybody. Like everybody know my manager, Jenny, by name. And
it's like a Latino cheers.
Yeah. We celebrate our employees' birthdays. We always look up to how they doing, not just like how they doing inside of the store, but what issues they have in their personal life that we can support them. And we not always have the money sources to do it because we are a small business, but then we find out who in the community can provide those services for our employers that they need.
What's an example of that?
For COVID, everybody in the store got their vaccine because we connect them to the right people to do it in the beginning. And when it was like no information about where can people get the vaccine, we just didn't like vaccinate them. We explained to them why it was important.
Okay.
And we allowed the choice to the ones that decided not to do it right away, because that's a choice that any human that have. And when they were ready, we have the vaccine ready for them too. We have done loans for our staff if they need money before something happen, one of the cars break. We do a loan without interest and just to get them out and put them on payments so they can have their resources back without having an impact on their economy.
So you want to expand?
Yeah, we are.
Where?
We want to replicate what is happening in the Light neighborhood. Okay. So it have to make sense. It have to be in a space where they don't have a grocery store.
Okay.
In space when we have a space to do community events. In a space where we have space for storage, because that's something that we don't have right now.
Okay. Is Fitchburg any of these possibilities?
Yeah.
Okay. Whereabouts?
Well, I like the Rimrock area.
Okay. Southdale neighborhood?
Yep. that I find out there's newly Fitchburg, right?
Yes.
Okay.
As of the end of this month.
Yeah, so I love that area. And yeah, that's the only one that I have seen so far
Okay.
that I like.
And
So
you-
if anyone from Fitchburg see an area that we should be, please contact me.
Yes. Mike Zimmerman, if you're watching. What else do you do besides groceries?
So we are about to open a tax service office.
What?
Yeah.
You do everything.
Oh my God.
What else?
I like your excitement, like you don't know none of this. And we do business consulting too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're in a space where you do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We are in a space. I do that through Synergy. That's where my office is.
Awesome. So, we're more than just groceries here. We're in a lot of different areas. We got 30 seconds left, but tell us any parting words of advice, any things you want our viewers to know.
Stop by Luna's.
All right. What's the
Come
address?
and check me out. 2010 Red Arrow Trail. And you can ask for Jenny, which is my manager, if you're not there. And just come and give us some love.
All right. Thank you for joining us for D1 All Stars. This is Joe Maldonado. Have a great one.